Good morning, everyone. Well, good morning, good day, good evening, good night, wherever you are. This is the ESC United Know-It-All cast, a live cast, actually, our first Google Hangout and of the year 2016. It's January the 3rd. I'm so excited. This means it's 2016. 2015 is in the past. Who cares what happened then? We're all focused on Eurovision this year in Stockholm, and we couldn't be more excited. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season. We sure did, or I sure did, and but now that's all gone. We need to focus on what's really important in life, Eurovision, and we got plenty of things to talk about, and we love the idea of being able to chat about this and to talk to you at the same time. It is a Google Live Hangout after all. And I'm not doing this by myself, obviously. It'll be a little boring. I have my friends here. I'm going to introduce them to you in just a second. Just make sure, if you want to follow the live Hangouts going forward, make sure to subscribe to our channel, TV ESC United. That way you get notified, and it'll be on the homepage when you log on. And you can also communicate with us through Twitter. Twitter handle is ESC United. My Twitter handle, if you want to reach me directly, is down there as well. And with no further ado, let me introduce my two colleagues who are joining me today, starting with Jake, one of our ESC United editors. What's happening, Jake?
Hello. Happy New Year.
Well, it's good to have you. And, of course, we have the wonderful Sadie. How are you, Donna?
I'm doing good. I'm getting Happy New Year and hope you had a great holiday.
Yes, yes, yes. It's going to be a good year, I have a feeling. So, as I said, we're going to start talking about the first few topics, and some of them happened already a week ago, but since we were on vacation, we also need some time off. We want to talk about them now. And the biggest one that happened, I think, is we have the first song of the season. Yay, we actually know a song. And last year, I remember we had already at least 3 or 4 songs. I know Macedonia, Albania, Netherlands already have given us their songs. Right now, we had to wait until Albania has chosen their entry, which they have done today. And that is the first thing I want to talk about. But before I go into the details, guys, have you watched the show and the Albanian national final online? Jake?
Yeah, there were storms in the UK, so it was a bit difficult to try and watch the final. But yeah, I watched it. And my favourite didn't win, but yeah, I got a chance to listen to all the songs. And
yeah. Who was your favourite?
It was, I can't even think. It was a girl. I can't even think of her name or the song name. But it was quite a popular one. A lot of people did like it. But yeah, it didn't win.
So, what did you think about the national final? Was it entertaining to you, or what are your thoughts?
It was an Albanian national final. Which, yeah, they're the same pretty much every year. They have like a similar little feeling to them, which is good. It's a nice little traditional national final that they have every year. Some really good songs. Don't always win, but yeah, it was a good national final. I liked it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I actually had the same thing when I watched it. I knew exactly going into it what was going to happen. They have a certain style, and you just got to accept it. There was quite a long delay actually before the show actually started, so we were just sitting there waiting for it to kick off. But eventually it did, and it was entertaining enough. I'm glad I watched it. And it was fun to have the first national final happening. I was just thrilled to have something to watch at last. But let's talk about the actual winner, and that is Eneda Tarifa, I think that's how you pronounce the name, and the song Perale. I have no idea if I pronounce this right, but anyway, it means fairy tale. So, Sadie, you get to go first. What do you think? Good choice, bad choice? What are your thoughts?
I actually think it's a good choice, but in the Albanian final, she was singing it in Albanian, but in Eurovision, she's going to be singing it in English. And
has that been confirmed, actually, that she's going to sing it in English?
Yeah, it has been. It has been confirmed. But no, I say, as me and Jake was talking to each other during the national final, we noticed that the song was over the 3-minute limit. So she is going to have to do a lot of work to cut the song down. And she's in the national final. She had an orchestra, but she's not going to have in Stockholm. So she's going to need to maybe think about the arrangements of the song even before she gets to Stockholm.
Yeah, that is a good point. I think Albania is known for, similar to Ukraine, to have just like a raw demo almost of the song, and then they have like the professionals come in, work it over, and make it something a whole lot more presentable. So I get your concerns, and they had it before where they had to cut down songs because the Festivali King is, I have not pronounced it. I hate pronouncing other words that I don't know. They always have like a different format, and some of the songs are like super long. So this is not the first time this happened. I'm pretty sure they'll figure it out. But Jake, what do you think? You like the song? I know it wasn't your favorite.
Yeah, it was my favourite, but it's a good song. That girl can sing. I think, as Sadie was saying about the 3 minutes, Albania, they've never had a song win their national final that's been 3 minutes or shorter. They've always had to cut it down or change the song. So I'm assuming that they're keeping the song. They're gonna revamp it and do things, and I think it'll be a really good song. I think it could be one of the best Albanian entries that they've sent once they've done the work to it. I think it's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. When I heard the song, I mean, I think we're like 20 songs in the final, 22. It was the only one that really stood out to me in terms of like, I remembered it. All the other ones, I was like, how did they go again? So I do think it has a lot more potential than some of the other songs. Instead, it needs a revamp, and I'm sure they'll do it, and it can really be a good thing. And they need it. Albania has a average track record when it comes to Eurovision, so we'll see how that's going to play out. One thing I wanted to bring up, and I was on vacation for a few days, so I missed a lot of the stuff that was going on, but Jake, you brought it to my attention. There was some controversy, and Sadie, you as well, about Eneda and some comments she made on Conchita Wurst. Who wants to comment on that?
I can go for that. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, there were a couple of comments that she made on social media around, well, on the semi-final when Conchita was performing. And people have been looking back at that and interpreting that into their own version. It was basically stuff like, is this a song? Is it a song contest? There was nothing offensive towards the way people are making out, in my opinion. It's basically just the way people have interpreted it. I don't think that there was anything offensive that was said. It's just interpretation.
Okay, so and that was the comment was made not recently, but in 2014 or 2013 when Conchita was actually selected to represent.
It was on the night of the semi-final of Eurovision, so it was in May.
Oh, okay, so it was a little, okay, so it was right there. Yeah, and I looked it up right now, exactly what you said, the translation, and I found it on Blogs. Check them out, they're great guys. They put the translation in there, and it says, is this really the Eurovision? Ha ha ha, are you kidding? Where are we heading? Where is the music? Where is the music hidden? So a lot of people interpret it as she is against, you know, Conchita and the movement in general, I guess. Is that the feeling you got as well, Sadie?
Yeah, she, as I say, Conchita though isn't the only transgender person to take part. It's again going back to the 90s. You had Dana International, so I don't know why people were interpreting the comments the way they are. If they had done it, I'm assuming they would have done it a long time ago when Dana International won.
Yeah, and I think the elephant in the room is obviously the reason why Conchita stands out. It's not because she is playing a character, a drag queen. She's the one that has the beard, more than I have actually. So it was like people threw off it threw people off because it's just not something that you're used to seeing. And the night Conchita was. When the broadcaster announced that Conchita was selected internally to represent Austria, that was way before she had a song. It was just said she is going to represent Austria. She wasn't only known to the public because in 2012 she tried to represent Austria before, and she took part in the national final, and she almost won. And that's the only impression most people had of her. is that particular performance, and all they saw was this woman with a beard. So they judged her based on her appearance a lot. And it was not just like artists like that you're referring to her right now. There were a lot of people within the Eurovision community on our website, on social media, who were questioning and criticizing that selection initially. There was a big backlash. I mean, there was this huge petition to have Conchita removed as an artist. So she had to work very hard to show this is just a shell, if you will, a character, but she's not a person that is trying to divide people. She's trying to unite people. And I think she's done a wonderful job of doing that during those 2 weeks in Copenhagen. So it's not just her who had that kind of reaction. There were a lot of people, as said, that love Eurovision and are usually very accepting within the LGBT community, actually, who criticized her initially. And then they came around and supported her. So to me, I would like to know what Eneda thinks today, like if she has changed her opinion, or was she just one of those people that felt, you know, that she was not genuine, that was just a character that's just trying to gain attention, and it was not about the music, which in the end, I think it was about the music. So I am actually, I want to decide on, you know, I'm going to be careful calling or like questioning her and saying, oh, she doesn't like gay people or drag queens, or she has a problem with that. I think it was just the unexpected appearance, I guess, for lack of a better word, that threw her off. And I don't think it was homophobic or anything like that. I think it was just insensitive, I guess. And we need to look behind the intent of the statement and what she meant by that. So some people were saying even like she shouldn't be representing Albania and the EBU should disqualify her. It's not the EBU's place to do that. Hopefully this is just going to be a minor thing, and it's not going to be a thing that's really going to destroy her like experience in Stockholm. And if we remember, the guy, what's his name, RMP3, he said some comments that were way more hurtful than this particular statement, because he was making a statement towards gay people. He was saying he would, if he had to drive through an area, like a gay area, he would drive through it really, really fast. So that is not a statement against Conchita, but a group as a whole, which is a little bit more insensitive. And I would have a bigger problem with that than what she said. So hopefully people will not overreact on this and wait until she either, you know, says something else that's hurtful at this point, or just move on with their lives. But before we move on from this topic, of course, I want to like to know, Sadie, you start first. What is your favorite Albanian entry to date?
I don't normally like Albanian entries, but last year's one from 2015 really stood out for me. I had to go back and listen to it on YouTube again, so it was last year. But I think their one from last year is one of their best to date.
Yeah, that was a good one. How about you, Jake?
2006 was my favourite Albanian entry. The guy was in...
Lewis, yes, he didn't qualify.
Yeah. No, he didn't, no, but that's my favourite. I'm not going to try and pronounce the title of the song, but yeah, that's my favourite. I really do like that one. I think he should have made the final, and I think I would like to see him again this year, because I did quite like his song again.
Fair enough. I personally, and I think that not everyone will agree, but it was the most successful Albanian entry. I love 2012. Some people call it shouting. I didn't think I would like it initially. I really appreciated her, Rona's Zeus, I'm referring to, by the way. It's a very daring song, and it's not the kind of song I would necessarily listen to on CD or when I want to relax, because, you know, it's a little... But I love that performance, and I think it was such a unique approach, and I love acts that send something that's a little bit more daring. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thought she sounded great, and it's a memorable song, and that's my favorite. So nobody agrees here. I guess we all have different favorites, but that's all right. So let's see how that goes. We have our first song. Yay! How exciting is that? So let's move on. And we're going to talk about the United Kingdom. The two of you would probably have a lot to say about that. I just want to talk about the United Kingdom and the selection process that's on the way right now, or underway. And we don't know that much right now, but one of the more recent information that we have is that you all know that the BBC has decided to hold an open selection to find this year's Eurovision Song Contest entry, and it has now been announced, or it's recently, that the song have been shortlisted. And in confirmation from the BBC, we have been informed that the songs have now been listened to by the OGAE UK, and the feedback returned to the BBC. The BBC has stated all the entries were viewed and shortlisted by the OGAE UK. The BBC has not been directly involved in this process this time around, and there seems to be a good quality of songs submitted. However, the OGAE passed on their comments to us and were very impressed with the amount of effort, thoughts, and care that went into this year's entries. So this is where we're at right now. There are a few names floating around, rumors and all stuff, who may end up in this selection. But I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts, Jake? Do you have a lot of hope, faith in the selection process, or you think it's going to go downhill from here?
Well, with the BBC not having a direct influence on the song this year, I think can only be a good thing. If you look at the way they've approached it over the last, say, 10 years, you'll see that the BBC don't have a clue, to be honest. They've tried so many different things, and I think this year they're giving the opportunity to other people and having an open selection, bringing OJE into it. The songs that were in the open selection were sent to OJE. They've picked theirs, passed everything back to the BBC. They've got the Basker involved, they've got record companies and things like that. So I think it's a good thing to have a wide variety of songs from a wide variety of places. And I just hope that it is a televised national final. I hope it's not going to go back to the way it was the early noughties, where it was on at 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon for an hour, and you have like 4 songs. I hope it's a big show on a Saturday night. A lot of people watch it, get involved, and I hope people vote for the song, not necessarily for the act, which would lead me on to the announcement that Jedward made that they've entered a song. So
what?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They've entered the song into the BBC.
I can see the joy in Sadie's face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sadie, you're a Jedward fan?
No. No, even though fair enough, they did, when they represented Ireland, they did place higher than the United Kingdom, but I am not a big Jedward fan, no way. But I did listen to a song that Jake sent me that he was involved with, and that is miles better than anything that Jedward could do. He is so talented. I'm surprised that no one's picked up on his talent yet. he would have been brilliant.
He would have been brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, as we said, just to stick with the Jedward thing, and Sadie, Jake mentioned, or the article mentioned, OGE has a big say in terms of who's going to get selected or not. OGE, and this is people's perception, or like some perception of some. I'm not saying it's the truth or it's a fact. We're just addressing some of the things that some people voiced their concerns about OGE having such a strong involvement, because again, perceptions that their taste in music seems to be a little bit out of line with maybe mainstream. They like songs that are a little bit more on the Schlager side, the Swedish songs, and some other songs that maybe slightly outdated at times. Sweden not outdated all the time because they keep winning, but there is a certain style that they prefer that may not really work for Eurovision. Do you agree with that, or you think that's just a very broad statement that may not be really accurate?
If you look at the OJ UK results in the OJ poll result thing that they do every year, like in 2015, I think they gave the 12 to Italy. Sweden placed quite high. I think Belgium placed quite high. So I think this perception is kind of unfounded, really, because the high points that they're given to people in the OJE poll kind of work with how the results ended on the night.
That is true. That is true. Especially when you look at last year, they were fairly spot on. There were times where they were off, but then everyone's off at times. I do remember they always love the Swedish entries.
Yeah.
So even when a Swedish entry doesn't do well, it's at the top of their chart. So that seems to be more of a pattern than anything. But other than that, it seems to be a little bit more in line with the betting odds, actually. So, which I guess it's just a fair statement then to have them as favorites. So I think just having a different approach is a good thing, even if, let's say, it doesn't work this year and there's going to be another disappointing result for the UK. We hope not. We're hoping for something good. Fingers crossed. But I'm just saying, worst case scenario, they're not going to do well. At least they can say they tried something different. And if it didn't work, don't give up on it right away, because even Sweden, who usually does well every once in a while, they have a blunder that just doesn't work out. A song doesn't click. It doesn't connect. The performer has a bad night. Certain things can happen. So, but I am just thrilled that they have another selection, and it's about time, because, you know, the BBC, as you mentioned, Jake, has not been doing a great job, which I don't get why. I mean, they're a big, big broadcaster, and there's so much good music out there, yet they always seem to go with something really odd that the rest of the world doesn't get. They're like, really? But hey, that's just how it goes. Let's see how it's going to play out. Are there any other names out there, Jake or Sadie, that are being floated around as a possible, you know, contender to represent the UK?
There was a politician, a Scottish politician, whose band have been going for years. They've apparently entered a song. There was a guy who's in the Spanish final. He tweeted a picture of him in an airport saying UK pre-selection. That's a rumour that's kind of bopping around at the minute, but that literally could just be he's on his way to the UK to work with a producer or something to finalise a song for the Spanish final, not necessarily anything to the UK final. But yeah, just like a couple of random names, but there's no. Usually you've got the big names getting thrown out there all the time, yeah. But no, there hasn't been that much this year of speculation as to like big names and things like that.
Yeah, but on our forum we always have like the running gag, like Adele is entering this year. So
yeah.
Just waiting for her name, right?
Yeah, she'll pop up on you.
Yeah, so she'll be yeah. So Adele for United Kingdom 2016, it's official.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We keep you up to date on that, but that's exciting that there is something going on in the UK. It'll bring a lot of attention and hopefully a little bit improve the contest reputation in the UK. People still watch it, but they still make fun of it because, especially when you don't do well, it's very easy to say the contest is corrupt, or, you know, people don't like the British people or the British music. But when in reality, the songs just have been
awful.
I was gonna say underwhelming, but I don't live in the UK. I have to be a little bit more politically correct, I guess. But yeah, okay, you said it. All right, so let's move on. We'll keep you up to date on the British situation. Next up is Malta. And Jake, I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts on that as well, since you have close ties. But as you know, the Maltese TV channel TVM, they have given the Eurovision fans an early Christmas present a couple of weeks ago and released the full versions of all 20 entries in the 2016 Malta Eurovision Song Contest. As always, go to escunited.com and you can listen to them. A few weeks ago, before that, they announced the 20 semi-finalists in the Maltese selection, and we had a few short clips to listen to, and the full versions are now available. And guys, you had a chance to listen to some of them or all of these songs? Sadie, have you listened to them yet?
Some of them I have, not all of them though.
Which one have you listened to so far? Any of the more known names?
Yeah, as Jake mentioned a while back, I've actually listened to Ira Losco. And her
thumbs up, thumbs down.
Definitely a thumbs up.
Thumbs
definitely.
up. Okay.
I think this where we were talking about a while back about second chances and things like that. I think this could be her year. She would absolutely, as Jake said, walk the national final.
Yeah. So Jake, and you need to tell me. I haven't listened to the songs yet because I was on vacation for the most part last week. I assume you've listened to most, if not all of them. Your impressions so far?
Yeah, listened to them all a lot, and As I previously stated, I think Era's going to walk it.
Doesn't she have two? I'm sorry to interrupt, but doesn't she have two songs in the running still?
Yeah, she's got two. That's Why I Love You and Chameleon.
Yeah, which one is the one that you think is the one that's going to be the front runner out of those?
Chameleon.
Chameleon. I heard that name floating around a bit. So okay.
Yeah, I think she's going to win. Not necessarily because of the song, which I've said in the past. I would rather a song win than a name. And I think she'll win because of her name. Not saying the song's bad at all, because it's a really, really good song, and I think it's got a really good chance in Eurovision. But this is one of the best Maltese finals ever. There are some amazing songs. Like when I first heard them, I was on the forum and I was posting, like literally after I'd listened to one of my comments. Alive was my joint favourite with Chameleon by Jasmine Abella. All Around the World by Deborah C. She's been a couple of times. Golden by Brooke, Christabel Kingdom. Yeah, they're just I was just the ones I just named then at the top of my playlist that I played most. I think it's an amazing national final, and I think it's quite sad that these songs have no chance really, because Era will walk it. But there are some really good songs that if they were entered in different years, then they would have went to Eurovision and potentially done quite well.
Well, I heard there are no Iglesias sisters this year around, which is very disappointing because they were like super popular. I'm kidding, by the way. I know that they were quite different last year. But just to go back to Ira Losko, you made a good point. I actually watched in 2002, and I remember Ira Losko's song in the betting odds. She was not that high up, but I think it is her stage presence and just her talent in general that really elevated that song Seventh Wonder to something that almost made the contest, make her win the contest. Like it was like 12 points short of winning, like one set of 12 points. And I remember watching that, actually screaming at the TV, like "Go Era," because I didn't like Latvia's song at all.
No, so, well, Latvia wouldn't have participated that year if Portugal hadn't withdrawn. So
thanks a lot, Portugal.
Yeah, I know. Ruining my life.
Yeah, I know. And I just remember, I never liked that, because I was like, I'd like to think I'm like a gracious loser. So I remember like them not winning, and I was like, this is bullshit. Oh, sorry. Well, and I could turn off the computer. I just shut it down because I was in America, because we didn't have it on TV, so I had to watch it on my laptop, and I was so mad, and I just went and ate something because I'm angry. I need to eat. So that's really weird how that happened. I was really mad. Good time. So I'm thrilled if she comes back. I haven't listened to the songs yet, so once again, songs come first, artists come second, of course. But in case, if she wins, that would be an exciting, exciting thing. And one of the things, Jake, I watched the national finals, the Maltese, before. One thing that not confused me, but correct me if I'm wrong, but the voting works, there are like 6 or 7 jury members, and there's only one set of televote. Is that correct? So it's not like 50-50. Yeah. It's just like 20 or 10% of the actual vote. Is that correct?
Yeah, you have the jury members give their points. So it'll be Eurovision points, so you'll get the 12. So each jury member can give a song 12 points, and the televote can give a song 12 points. So it's completely unbalanced. But
so it's like one extra jury member, basically. Is that what?
Yeah, basically, yeah. But if you look at the results from the last couple of years, the winner of the televote has basically, like with Amber, she won the televote and the jury, so they have the same opinion anyway. And then it was similar with Gianluca and Firelight and things like that. So they're not dissimilar, the jury and the televote.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Malta has also, at least over the past 10 years, I want to say recently, not the best track record, not the worst, but certainly nothing compared to Junior Eurovision, where they have been like owning the contest recently. Why do you think that is? Why is it that they can own the Junior Eurovision contest, but for the most part have underwhelming record at Eurovision? Because they had one good one in 2013. They sometimes qualify, but when they do, they end up at the bottom. So why do you think that is? Is there a reason?
I don't really know, but for me, in Junior Eurovision, not just Malta, but every country, all the kids have a sense of national pride representing their country. And but I think if they feed on, like Destiny, for instance, she was absolutely brilliant at Junior Eurovision and all her appearances and everything. But I think if she proceeds into Eurovision, I think she will do extremely well. She could even win that.
Yeah, with the right song. Jake, do you know why they're not doing that well at Eurovision compared to Junior Eurovision?
Junior Eurovision, they internally select an amazing singer. Well, because they took a break from Junior Eurovision, came back with Gaia, absolutely smashed her out the water. She won. Then came fourth last year, Federica, and then this year, obviously, Destiny won again. They're internally selecting an amazing act, and then they're working close together and creating a song that is amazing and is doing well. And obviously, everyone loves it because they're doing so well in the contest. And I think with in the adult version, they're just getting loads of songs and things. So Era's come back this year, but there's things like Claudia Faniello. She's stopped participating. She's a well-known name. You've got people like Airport Impressions and things, big bands that wouldn't touch Eurovision because they'd have to go through the whole process of entering a song, going to the audition section, then doing the semi-final, the final. And so I think it's kind of the reason people won't go to Eurovision in general, because they have to go through a whole process. If they're internally selected, then great. So I don't think the bigger names are going to adult Eurovision because they've got to go through the whole selection process.
Yeah, it seems like the fact that they have control over the song, the act, and everything around it seems to be working for them. So that's very interesting. So we're going to wrap this up with one last thing, and I want to know, Sadie, your favorite Maltese song to date, or the recent one, whichever.
Well, again, Malta's not been one of my stronger countries, believe it or not. But no, having Jake mentioned Ira Losco, she's one, like Ruslana, she's one of these people I've just gone back and back and back and back, and she has been the outstanding one for me. I'm surprised she didn't win, to be quite fair.
Yeah, no, I think we all were.
Yeah.
I am going next. I have very fond memories of Malta. Malta is a very important Eurovision country to me. They're the reasons, actually, I watch Eurovision. It was Chiara in 1998 that I remember. I was very young, walking around the city, and they had this big screen up where they were showing the Eurovision. I didn't even know Euro what. So, and I remember, oh, well, let's just stay here and watch it. And then Chiara came on singing The One That I Love. And I was like, oh my God, I love this contest. And then once again, I walked away really angry when she didn't win on the last vote. And I'm like, this is bullshit. So, oh gosh, I don't know why. I'm bad luck, I guess. So, but she's the reason I'm like, I'm going to watch it next year again. And that's how I became a fan of Eurovision. So I'm biased towards Chiara. I like Angel actually better now thinking about that. I'm a big Chiara fan, so if I had to pick somebody, it would be her and her music. How about you, Jake?
I have to agree. The one that I love, Chiara. Basically,
really?
Yeah, that's basically what got me into Eurovision, the same as you. I watched it, and I'd briefly watched it before, but watching her performance, she just blew me away. And it's just that iconic moment, and then at the end of the results, when Malta should have won, but then the Macedonian jury refused to give any points to Chiara, and then Diana won, and Chiara came third. But yeah, it's amazing. I was speaking to Chiara at New Year, and yeah, she's lovely. I hope she comes back, and I hope she wins.
Yeah, that's my thing. I only want to ask: do you think, knowing her or herself, you think she would ever try again to go to Eurovision, or think she's done?
No, I think she'll potentially go back again. But I think, I don't know, with her music at the minute, it's completely different to what she's brought to Eurovision before. So I think people who know and love her for what she's done in Eurovision in the past, if she comes back with something like Zarbun, sort of dancey song and things like that, maybe they wouldn't kind of appreciate her as much because they want this amazing ballad. But I don't know. I hope she comes back, and I hope she wins.
I know. I would love for if she would be the one that brings the victory to Malta. How awesome would
Yeah.
that be? Because she kind of was also like bringing Malta. I mean, they had good results before in the 90s, but it seems like that really elevated Malta into like this Eurovision country that is very passionate about the contest.
Yeah, it's because it was so close, the voting right at the end, and it literally came down to that one set of votes.
Oh, I know,
And
I know.
it just
I know
received.
we have a memorable winner with Dana International, so we can't complain too much, but I would have preferred Malta. But anyway, that's just me, and we leave it at that. We'll see what's going to happen with Malta. Let's move on. And speaking of like all these famous names, let's talk about 2016 because there seem to be, at least at this point, a big number of returning artists that are trying their luck again at Eurovision. Some already have been announced, and a bunch of them are in the running, like we mentioned about Ira Lasko. So I want to go through the list real quick with you guys and just quickly get your thoughts on them. And if I miss somebody, you just let me know. Give me 2 seconds here. The first one, of course, let's talk about the ones that have been selected so far. And the first one is Calliope, representing the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. She represented the country in 2012, and she is the only one that qualified from the semis since the introduction of the two semifinal system in 2008. So they're like, we're not having any luck, we're bringing her back. Sadie, good idea, bad idea, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's a brilliant idea. Since you mentioned her a while back, she's another one I've gone back and back and back. And I watched one of her interviews on the Wee Wee blogs, obviously our good friends, and she's amazing. She's brilliant. She's another one I'm growing to love. There's a lot of Eurovision artists at the moment I'm just growing to love, and she is one of them.
Yeah, she's just this ball of energy. She's very energetic, and it's just my kind of gal that I'm drawn to, so I like her a lot. Jake, your thoughts?
Yeah, I love her. I think there's just something about her that that whole energy, on stage, off stage, doing interviews. I saw a quite disturbing video on YouTube of some Greek journalist confronting her in the street and screaming at her, saying, "Why did you call it Macedonia? Your country isn't Macedonia. It's Fyrom." And the way she handled herself was just like amazing. Because if somebody did that to me in the street, I'd be like, well, it wouldn't have ended like that. But she was just so composed, and she handled it so well. And she does exactly the same on stage. She owns that stage, and I can't wait to hear her song.
Yeah, I'm really excited as well. I really liked her song actually in 2012, so I try not to have too many expectations. There's a lot of pressure on her because people think that she's going to bring back Macedonia, the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. I'm too lazy to say the whole name. Back to the finals. So I'm sure as an artist, that's always quite nerve-wracking, but if somebody can do it, it's her. So I think they made a good call on this one, and the fact that she's willing to do it again, kudos to her. All right, next up is for Bosnia and Herzegovina. There's like a bunch of people representing that country. One of them is a returning artist, which is Dean, who represented Bosnia and Herzegovina. What's all up with these long names? Bosnia and Herzegovina in 2004 with a song In the Disco, and I think it finished 9th, 10th, something like that. And your thoughts, Jake? Good, bad choice? Where are we going to head with that one?
Well, from what I've heard, it's going to be completely different this year to In the Disco, which to me is a good thing because I wasn't really a fan of In the Disco. It's not really my style of music, but the different names and the different acts in this whole group that they've formed, I think it's going to be completely different. Potentially could be a ballad, and I think it'll be different to In the Disco, so I'm quite happy. He's not my favourite Eurovision person, but it's good to see returning artists.
Yeah. What about you, Sadie?
Also, I was just completely agreeing with everything Jake said. I think now he has the potential to do something else, like another genre altogether. I think that he could do well this time.
Yeah, sometimes I'm worried when you have too many people on stage, it could be too much because they all try to outshine each other and be the one that is, people want to look at. We had this with Armenia last year where everyone wanted to be the strong singer, and they're all just like, in the shadows, there's too many people. But we'll see how that's going to go. I am also kind of in agreement with you. He's not maybe the most memorable or best artist we have, but we'll see how it goes. Next up, one of another artist that's already for sure returning is Montenegro. They added Bojan Jovovic to the lineup with what's it, Highways, the band, what it's called, right? Highway. They added him to the band, and he represented Serbia Montenegro in 2005 as part of the band No Name, and they finished 7th, I think, in 2005. Sadie, your thoughts?
He's not one I'm familiar with, but I did watch him in 2005, and yeah, I didn't think anyone was going to beat Helena in 2005, but if anyone was, personally, I think it would have been him.
Yeah, I don't even know which one of the 5 guys or 6 guys he was on stage, so sorry about that. I did like the song. I'm not quite sure why he was added to the lineup. It's not like it's name recognition or anything by all means. Maybe he is a really good singer, or he is like his physical appearance maybe. I don't know. I don't know how he looks like, so I can't even say, but I don't know why he was added. Your thoughts, Jake?
He was added because they needed somebody who could play, I can't even think, an instrument of some sort, and they needed to add somebody into the group that could play that, and he got picked.
Because we need instruments at Eurovision because it's a live orchestra, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Not too sure why, but I'm quite happy because No Name, 2005, it was one of my favourite songs that year. And then 2006, when they should have represented Serbia Montenegro again, it would have been my favourite song in that year. But I loved the group, and I've listened to the boys when they've split up. I've listened to like some of their solo stuff, and it's been quite good. I haven't heard any of his solo stuff. But yeah, as I said before, it's good to have names back, and from a group that I did like, I'm quite happy.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll see how that's going to play out. And let's move on to the people that are currently in the running. There are a bunch of former Eurovision participants who are trying to come back to Eurovision. Let's start with Kali Sanders, who represented Hungary in 2014 with Running, one of the best Hungarian results in 20 years. Back again now with this band, Kali Sanders Band. Your thoughts, Sadie?
Well, he's another one I've grown to like. I think I was trying to think of the best way to describe it. He's one of these people, another one of these people that has an excellent stage presence, and I've listened to a few of his interviews, and I think if he was selected, he would produce probably Hungarian's best result ever if he was selected again.
Yes, no, I met him in Copenhagen, and he's a very, very nice guy. He's very chill, very relaxed, but very, very friendly and funny. So I would love to meet him again, so I'm a little biased. I love this song as well, so I'm thrilled that he's trying to come back. I haven't listened to his song, so I can really speak on that. What are your thoughts, Jake?
Running was one of my favourite songs that year, and I spoke to him like a lot. Prior to Eurovision, and briefly like after it, I've spoken to him now and then. As you said, he's a great guy. His song, I have listened to it, and it's really good. And I think he could do very well again this year.
All right, we shall see. Who else is in the running? We have Malta Ira Losko. We already talked about her, so we don't have to spend time on that. But let's move on to Sweden. We have a bunch of returning artists there, starting with Krista Siegfrieds, representing Finland in 2013 with Marry Me and the Ding Dong team. Now she's going to sing in Finnish. Your thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, she's a lot of people know her. She kind of became this big name in Eurovision. Social media fell in love with her. Everyone was talking about her and that famous kiss. I think, yeah, she's. I've not really listened to much of her other stuff apart from her Eurovision entry. But yeah, she's a name that people spoke about quite a lot. Bringing her back, if she goes to Eurovision again, people will be like, oh yeah, that's that girl, and social media will kind of talk about her again. So it could be a good thing for Sweden and Eurovision.
Yeah, Sadie.
That's not one I'm familiar with, so I'm not prepared to comment on something I don't know about.
Yeah, no, I mean, she was also a lot of fun. She's very, she was very loud, and I don't mean that in a mean way. Some people were annoyed and depressed in it because, you know, you're doing your interview, you're talking to the quiet lady from Israel. You're like, so how do you like your song? And then her whole team come in like, da 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 ding dong, and everyone was like. So it was really funny, but she just had so much fun, and I cannot fault her for that. So that was good times. Who else is in Sweden? Oh, Martin Stenmark, who represented Sweden in 2005 with Las Vegas. Sadie?
Again, in 2005, I think there was only going to be one winner, and there was no one who could match that. But again, I think the Melody Festival of me this year is going to be great, and I think it is going to be a closely fought battle between him and Molly Sandon. I think it's going to be a really close fought battle.
Jake?
Yeah, he wasn't one of my favourites in 2005. The performance was quite good, quite energetic with all like the Vegas-y star thing in the background and stuff. He knows how to perform, but his previous Melody Festival songs, recent Melody Festival songs haven't been that great. So I don't really see him as a contender. Obviously, it depends on the song, but judging by recent entries, I wouldn't call him a contender.
Yeah, I didn't like his song either, Las Vegas, although it was pretty painful. But I actually liked his recent Melody Festival efforts. It's just my kind of music, I guess. And the last one we have here for Melody Festival is Tommy Nilsson. We have to go way back, like 27 years, I think. Tommy Nilsson represented Sweden in 1989. And who remembers the song? Anybody? Sadie? Jake?
Nope.
Nope. I have to think. I think it's in Dog. If that's one, I'm trying to remember on top of my head. If that's a song, yeah, he's the guy with the, well, everyone had bushy long hair back then, curly hair in the 80s, so that's not really helpful. If that's a song, I actually like that song, but I like the backup singers the most, because, you know, like sometimes you have these backup singers, they have the stage presence, they're outshining the actual singers. So it was like that, and with that particular song, they were just very energetic, like, and Doc, da 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 da, and they totally took all the attention away from him, which I really liked, which was funny. So hopefully it's him. If not, then I totally said this all for nothing.
There's a Finnish song that when you've just been describing that, there's a Finnish song that reminded me of, and one of the backing dancers, she was like that. She was going crazy, and the singer was just standing there.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know. I love really energetic backup singers. They just, I don't know. I get a kick out of that. Next up is Iceland. Greta Salome. She represented Iceland in 2012 along with Beyoncé, and they qualified and then finished at the bottom. So, what are you guys thinking? Sadie?
I always like songs that come in the bottom half of Eurovision, and this was one of them. Greta Salome for me should have been at least on the right-hand side of the board, not the left. I think she was one of the most underrated songs of our generation, I think.
Yeah, and it was very, very popular, especially like in the betting odds. And then they switched it to English, and it dropped like crazy, which is interesting. And then during the rehearsals, it dropped a little further in the betting odds. What did you think, Jake?
One of my favourite songs that year. I think people are crazy not to vote for it. I love her. There's one of her songs that on her album, In the Silence, which is absolutely amazing. It's one of my favourite songs, and if entry in the Icelandic final this year is anything like that, then she'll definitely be high up in my ranking.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that they were not turned off. It sounds a little bit dramatic, but it felt like her facial expressions did not match the song. Like she has like that pageant beauty smile, like never forget what I did. Like it's a sad song. It's upset you don't supposed to smile in the camera like that. So I guess there maybe have been a disconnect. But I agree. I really like that song as well, and should have done way better. And who else? Mihai, who represented Romania in 2006 with Tornero, is finally trying his luck again. He was waiting for the right song, and he thinks he has it. What do you think, Jake?
Romania tend to kind of wait till the last minute, pretty much, to announce anything about what they're doing, and nothing has been announced by TVR this year yet. I think it was the 14th of January last year when they announced they were having a national final, but nothing's been announced. He's literally just expressed that he wants to enter again, and he will enter again. So that's what we're going on by using his name, because he stated that. But I think, well, he ended fourth when he first entered with the song that everyone loved, people still love now. One of the best songs in Eurovision around that time. So hopefully, if he's got something similar to that, he could actually potentially bring it back to Romania, the trophy.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy. He can sing very well. He has a good stage presence, and he's into it. Like, he really likes Eurovision, actually. So I think he has a good shot. Sadie, did you like his entry?
That was a bit of a middle. That's a bit of a middle of the road one for me. My favourite Romanian is not my favourite Romanian entry at all. But
No,
I must say my favourite Romanian entry by miles is Playing with Fire, and I think
Playing with Fire. Yeah.
I don't think anyone's ever going to match Paula Selling and Ovi, but apparently Ovi's really arrogant, but I don't think he is. I don't think he is. No.
He's a little standoffish. I'm going to say. I'm not going to try to be mean. It felt like he was not really into the whole Eurovision experience. But that's just, maybe his personality, so I don't want to judge him too much. So yeah, I mean, Tornero wasn't necessarily my favorite song that year either, but I had to acknowledge his talent, and he's a great singer, and he has a lot of skills. So from that perspective, I think he can do very well. And we'll see how that goes. And who else do we have? And I'm going to mispronounce her name, so that's always fun. Ukraine, Anastasia Prichutko. She represented Russia in 2009. She's trying again. Jake, what is she? Do you not have any details on that?
No. She represented Russia, and the main thing I remember is a pretty bland song. And in the background on the screens was her face aging as the song went on. Yeah. That's pretty much all I know about her, to be honest.
Yeah. The song to me was very whiny. It's a love or hate song. A lot of people loved it. They felt it. Or you didn't. There was not a whole lot in between. It's okay kind of thing. It was, you felt either way. To me, it was just very whiny. It's like, mama, and I can't. So it wasn't for me, but it doesn't mean she can sing as well. So I can only, have to wait for the song. Sadie, do you remember the song?
Yeah, I do, and this is where I'm going to sound a bit weird. But I think artists who have represented one country and they're known for representing that country shouldn't really be allowed. I don't think to represent another country, because she's not going to be as strong as I'm hoping the person you're going to next mention. She is nowhere near as strong. Her voice isn't strong. Her stage presence isn't strong as the person I'm hoping you're going to mention next.
Okay. Who am I mentioning next? Let's look at my smart list. The next person is, oh yes, Zlata from Ukraine. You remember Gravity, people. I'm going to start on that one. Zlata song Gravity. She's trying to represent Ukraine again in 2013, but she is probably my all-time Ukrainian favorite. I know Ruslana is a close second, but there was something about Gravity that really, I was like, this is my favorite song of the past 10 years, probably in Eurovision. I love her voice. She's ridiculous, and she's way too beautiful. I hate her. And she's talented. She's like everything. Like, she's perfect to me. So I loved everything about it. So the fact that she may come back makes me just giggle on the inside. But tell me, Sadie, what are your thoughts?
I think you know what my thoughts are by now. Apart from Ruslana, she is my other favourite Ukrainian entry of all time. Ukraine have always had a great results in Eurovision, and I think she should have played second personally. But I think you see my hands are praying.
Yeah.
She's been hashtagging Eurovision 2016 in a lot of her Instagram posts and a lot of her Facebook posts. So I am praying. I think she's going to be one of these that leaves it to the last minute, but I'm praying it's going to be her.
Okay. Well, Jake, you have two very enthusiastic people. Don't ruin it. You liked her?
No, I did. I loved her.
Oh, thank
She's
God.
she was great. I put she was 9-1 in the odds at one point, so I stuck £10 on. And obviously she didn't win. But I thought if I thought she potentially could have done it if obviously because Emily was the favourite. I thought if Emily didn't do it, then Zlata would have like taken over, and it would have been quite good to see her. Well, no, because I love Emily. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zlata's great.
I'm also kind of scared because I love that song so much that it's going to be so difficult to beat that. But if somebody can do it, it's Zlata. So we'll keep you up to date on that. Let's move on. Who else do we have? Moldova, Light Sound, who represented Belarus in 2012, and it goes back to what you just mentioned, Sadie, that they represented Belarus. Now they're going to Moldova. It seems Moldova is the place where every artist goes to if they want to represent a country because they just allow anybody. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think because I remember Kitty Bucknell. I think she went to try for another country, and she didn't get in. But I think because Moldova is so open and they're not as strict, anybody and everybody can just flood in. But who knows, if they have that approach, one day they might actually win.
Well, yeah. First of all, Eduardo from last year with the police strippers. He was Ukrainian. Right, yeah. So that didn't work out. But when you look at in 2013 and 12, Aliona Moon and Pasha also wrote 2013. They're from Moldova. They're true Moldovan. Those were, in my opinion at least, the two strongest Moldovan entries to date, and also did very, very well. So maybe sticking to local talent makes more sense, but it could go either way. What are your thoughts, Jake? Do you like Light Sound?
Yeah, I did quite like them when they were in Eurovision last time. This time, I think their song's reasonably good. I think I don't know what to think about this year's Moldovan final. I don't know what song's gonna win. I don't really have a favourite, but they changed the rules this year, so it is just Moldovan people who can enter unless they're singing with a Moldovan singer. And Catherine, I think her name is, who they're singing with, is Moldovan, and they're from Belarus, so that's why they've been allowed this year to take part. I was hoping to enter this year, but none of my team are Moldovan, so couldn't.
Okay, and the last on the list here for Moldova, and the second one, is Natalia Barbu. She represented Moldova in 2007, one of the two top 10 results for Moldova. This year she's part of the group L, and I said I was on vacation for a couple of days or a week, so I missed a few things. I thought this band was like close to being disqualified. That didn't happen, Jake?
No, one of the girls said she couldn't do it, so they wanted to change the lineup, and then they were saying no, you can't do that. So I think there's now just two of them instead of the initial three.
Gotcha. Okay, your thoughts, Sadie. You like Natalia's song?
Well, yeah, but I think there's another band, Estonian band, all-girl band, that have changed their lineup, and Dolly Style, I think they've also changed their lineup a few times. But I think if you're going to enter a band, you should stick with the lineup that you put in. Blue, for instance, they had always stuck with the lineup that they'd put in. So I think in terms, yes, they should have been disqualified, but if they could re-enter if they wanted, as however many there were.
Yeah, I personally, that's just my opinion, I don't like groups that I just put together for the sake of Eurovision. If it's like a duet, like saying, hey, singer A, like Ovi and Paul are sailing, they're two individuals, they're not a band, do you know what I mean? They just collaborate for that, that's fine, but we spend like, oh, this person, we want to join up, but this person can't do it, let's bring in this person. It seems very disingenuous to me, and I don't think that's what it should be about. So I don't know if I like this whole thing, but I don't know if she's going to win. She's been trying to come back for a while now, Natalia, so we shall see. All right, who else do we have? Well, let's go to Estonia. We have Laura is her name. She was part of the band Sun Tribe in 2005. That band did not qualify with Let's Get Loud. Do you remember that song, Jake?
I do very well. They were all standing there, and they had the decks, the fake decks that they were playing with. Yeah. But yeah, it was a fun song. Potentially could have made it through because around that time, loads of random stuff was going through.
Lots of wrong notes. Don't forget about lots of wrong notes.
Yeah, wrong notes as well. But yeah, I think. But she's been in. Was she in Udalol, or has it just been the Estilol that she's been in? But I think she had another song a couple of years ago. Can't think what it's called. Was it Sunflowers? Sunflower, something that came really close to representing Estonia. So yeah, she's tried a couple of times. She's been to Eurovision. She must want to come back because obviously she's gone in again. But she's a nice girl. Her songs are good. So if she were to represent Estonia, I wouldn't be unhappy.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the song's going to sound like. I haven't listened to them yet. I gotta catch up on that. Then there is Mick Pedaja. He was Estonia 2010 as part of Manpower 4. What band was that? I don't even remember them.
They were
that was not their representing.
No, they were like the backing group, like what Tanel and Dave did. They had 2XL.
Okay,
as the backing group. They were the backing for them in 2010, and he was part of that.
Okay. Well, there's not much to say about them. We don't know them that well. Who's next? Lithuania, Donny Montel, Love is Blind. So, your song, Sadie, you like it?
Yeah, I was, because I actually watched Eurovision with my uni flatmates that year, and one of my flatmates was Lithuanian, and we both just fell in love with Donny, and I'm glad he's back.
He's back. He buffed up. He was a little boy, twinkie looking guy. Now he's like he's changed quite a bit over the years. Yeah, he was like, what's up? What about you, Jake? You excited about his return?
I am really excited. Because Love is Blind, I hated it at the beginning, but like after time went on, I listened to it a few more times, especially when you saw his performance and his dancing and stuff. He knows how to perform. He's good on stage, and I think I'd be quite happy to see him representing Lithuania again.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. I kind of liked it before. I wasn't crazy about it. It always reminded me of I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. I will survive, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then live performance was actually pretty spot on, so I really liked him. So let's see what he's going to bring to the table. And we already talked about Jedward, so we're politely going to skip that one since we've done that. So these are the names that we've had so far. Am I missing anybody, Jake?
Yeah, there's Erica Jennings, who was part of Scamp in 2001, the Irish girl, the You Got Style. Hey, you sitting over there looking so fine.
Oh yeah, I skipped her. My bad.
Yeah.
So, yes, so she is back.
Yeah, she's back in the Lithuanian final. But anything can happen in the Lithuanian final. We all know that. So anyone could win it.
I know. They could just throw a dart and see who wins. It's like you never know what's going to happen. So lots and lots of familiar names. I expect a few more to come up, and we'll discuss them as they come along. But it's great that there is so much interest in Eurovision. It is a great platform, especially from artists in smaller countries who may not have that kind of exposure otherwise. So good luck to everyone involved, and we'll see you hopefully in Stockholm. All right. So the last thing we want to talk about is Australia. And I know a lot of people always like Australia, that shouldn't be part of Eurovision, whatever. I'm not going to talk about that tonight. Since they're part of it, the EBU made the decision to let them in. We may as well just talk about them. And last year they sent Guy Sebastian, who is fairly known in Australia, and he brought home a really good result. 5th place, you can't complain about that. This year, it looks like they're going to have another internal selection, and the rumor mill is happening. And one of the big names and that are out there, and I'm going to read this from EurovisionIreland.net, another site that we love. They're great people. I always love seeing them in at Eurovision. But they pointed out, you need to go out to the website. They point out that Delta Goodrem, she is fairly popular in Europe. I don't really know her that well because she didn't really break through here in America, but I do know that she was quite popular in not just Australia, but also Europe. There are indicators that she may be able, or like that her schedule conveniently opened up for Eurovision. Like she was supposed to be part of the Cats tour in Australia. All of a sudden, she was taken off, and they're looking for someone to replace her. And then some other things that are happening. Check it out, as said, on Eurovision, EurovisionIsland.net. They'll have more information on that. But there are rumors that this could happen. Do you think that's a thing, Jake?
Yeah, from the first time I heard Delta Goodrem sing was on Neighbours, the TV show that she was on, and she started off as
wait. Sorry to interrupt, but is that show still on? Wasn't it like from the '80s where Kylie Minogue and all?
Yeah, that's where Kylie Minogue came from. Jason Donovan, people like that.
Oh, that's still on?
Yeah, it's still on. Well, it's on a break at the minute here in the UK. They'll come back like next week, I think. But I can't wait for that because I love Neighbours. But I digress. Yeah, she started off on that. She may have had like some form of singing career in Australia before that, but that's where a lot of people know her from Neighbours. And she was a singer-songwriter on that. And she, as part of the script, she wrote, what was that song called? Born to Try. And then she performed it on that. And from that second, I fell in love with her. So I would love to see Delta Goodrem go to Eurovision. If not her, then I've got a few names that I'll bring up in a minute.
All right, yeah, I would like to hear about that. What about you, Sadie? Would you be excited to have her? You think that's even a possibility?
I just totally 100% agree with everything that Jake just said. I also know her from Neighbours because it's a popular show here as it is in Australia. I think she has got the ability to win, and as you say, her schedule just conveniently opened up, and her path has been cleared for her to represent Australia.
Yeah. So see, I know of Neighbours because I don't know, it's just the thing I heard because Kylie Minogue, but I didn't realize that's still on. It's that popular in the UK. So I learned something new today. Yeah, I mean, I listened to a couple of her songs, and she sounds nice, but since I don't have that name recognition, I don't have that kind of attachment to her. I'm like, oh my God, it's Delta Goodrem. But if she's popular, I think that's just going to help the reputation of the contest. I mean, it's already so popular in Australia, so them sending big names, maybe the UK at some point will follow suit. We shall see. But Jake, let me go back to you. You said there are a few other names that are floating around.
Yeah, before I go on to that, Delta Goodrem wrote the junior Eurovision entry for Australia.
Oh.
So she wrote My Girl. So I think maybe that kind of opened the platform up with the TV channel Eurovision, and then they got talking. So
I don't watch Eurovision, junior Eurovision. So how did Australia place that year? This year, what did they finish?
Was it 8th? I think they ended.
Out of how many? How many countries took part?
17.
17. Okay,
Yeah.
somewhere in between. Okay.
Yeah, but the other names that I would like, I keep bringing up Ricky Lee. She is amazing. She's one of those, like, she's like a diva. She's not a diva, but she's got that like presence, and she works it on stage. The songs are amazing. I'd love her. People like 5SOS, who they've kind of they've became quite well known across the world. I think they'd be a good name, because I always think boy bands would do quite well if they're put in properly, and a proper boy band, not like Russia 2002. Just nothing like that. I mean, a proper boy band. Yeah. So there's them. There's Kate Miller-Heidke, who she's pretty well known in NSC. She's been sent a couple of times, and yeah, there's people like that. There's like Shannon Knoll, who he was on Australian Idol and things like that. So there are quite a few names there that could be thrown out, but I just can't wait. I'm so excited to see Australia back. Like, you don't believe, like, you can't believe how excited I am.
Well, let me ask you this: how excited are you?
I'm about as excited as I will be on the 23rd of January watching the Maltese national final. So you can kind of gauge.
That's very good. That's a lot. Sadie, are there any other Australian acts, singers, bands that you can think of that you would love to see in Stockholm, or did Jake mention them all already?
I know Kylie has said she's completely ruled herself out, but if she won't go, then I think her sister Danny Minogue should have a go. And then Jake's already mentioned people like Jason Donovan and also the YouTuber singer Troy Sivan. I think he would do well because he's well known in like mine and Jake's generation from YouTube and things like that. So I think that could give him an edge using social media as his platform to build to Eurovision.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, we shall see. I'm not sure if they're going to announce it right away. It's probably going to be next month or so where we'll find out who is going to represent them. But it is exciting to speculate. So we'll keep you up to date on that. Am I missing anything, guys, in regards to Australia? Or
no, I think that's it. We've just covered potential names.
Right.
We've not had any official news.
Yeah. So that's all we have for today. I know we said about an hour, so that's what we did. So I want to thank both of you for your time and effort, and we'll be back next week for sure. We'll give you the dates and all of that, and make sure to join us for the next Hangout live on YouTube on our website. It's going to be fun, and we want to hear your thoughts. We're going to read them, and we're going to share them with everybody. And let's talk Eurovision. This is going to be an exciting year. We're going to have 43 countries taking part. It's the biggest number of participants, or shared biggest number. So let's make the best of it. With that said, make sure to send us your tweets at #ESC United. You can go to our lovely forum. We'll read your posts there, and you can go to Facebook. We're everywhere. We're on Instagram. We'll love to hear from you. Until then, thanks again, Sadie, Jake. I'll see you next time, all right?
Yeah, see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.